Joy and relief as a ceasefire is now in effect, paving the way for the remaining hostages to be released early next week after being held by Hamas for more than 2 years. In Gaza, thousands seen heading north back to Gaza City, just moments after the ceasefire was made official. The Israeli government overnight approving the first phase of the deal with Hamas. Trump's top negotiators, envoy Steve Witkoff and son-in-law Jared Kushner, there with Prime Minister Netanyahu. This morning, 200 U.S. troops now heading to Israel to monitor the ceasefire, working with other international forces, though officials stress the U.S. military will not go into Gaza. At the White House, the president celebrating too, calling the deal a momentous breakthrough.
I think it's going to be a lasting peace, hopefully an everlasting peace.
Right now, what's been agreed to is phase 1. Hamas set to release the 20 living hostages early next week and the remains of 28 others who perished. In return, Israel releasing more than 1,000 Palestinian prisoners and pulling back its troops in Gaza to an agreed-upon line. The big question, then what? The president's 20-point plan had called for Hamas to disarm and for Gaza to be governed by an apolitical Palestinian committee overseen by an international board of peace with Trump as its chairman. I asked the president, what comes next? What guarantees Hamas disarms and that Israel doesn't resume bombing once the hostages are released?
The first thing we're doing is getting our hostages back, okay? And that's what people wanted more than anything else. They wanted these hostages back that have lived in hell like nobody has ever even dreamt possible. And after that, we'll see.
But what is phase 2? When does it begin?
I'm not going to talk about that because you sort of know what phase 2 is, but there will be disarming, there will be pullbacks, there will be a lot of things that are happening.
Months ago, Trump said the Palestinians would have to leave Gaza. His 20-point plan outlined a different approach, saying we will encourage people to stay. I asked him if that still holds. Can you confirm that as Gaza is rebuilt, that no one will be forced to leave?
Yeah, nobody's going to be forced to leave, no. It's just the opposite.
In Gaza, hope, but also uncertainty. I hope this happiness will be fulfilled and the ceasefire deal will last. This displaced mother says, we don't want them to take their hostages and then return to war. Now, as part of this initial phase, desperately needed humanitarian aid will be allowed into Gaza, though it's not exactly clear when. The Israeli military now has 24 hours to scale back its troops. After that, Hamas will have 72 hours to release all of the remaining hostages. That is expected early next week. And President Trump says he is heading to the region in the coming days, George.
Okay, Mary, the Nobel Peace Prize announced this morning. President Trump had been campaigning for that based on his work in the Middle East. He didn't get it.
He did not, George. Instead, the Nobel Peace Prize has gone to Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Machado. The Nobel Prize Committee recognizing her for her, quote, tireless work promoting democratic rights for the people of Venezuela and her work to achieve a peaceful transition from dictatorship to democracy. Trump had hoped he was in the running for this, but he said yesterday, George, quote, whatever they do is fine.
Mary Bruce, thanks.